Hello, hello. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I am only half sure that this is all working. I see some people chatting, so people are connected. That's good. First of all, can we all acknowledge how amazing this unhinged little screen I made? If you can see it, little 200s to celebrate 200,000 subscribers, and a little live feed of the pigeons. Hey, Perfecto, Artem, and Annoying. I can't even pronounce that. Utah Raptor. We hear you. Okay, great. Thank you. Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for joining. I haven't actually done a live stream like this public facing. Usually I do it kind of more privately, so glad things are working out. But I'll just get into it. So for those who, don't know me, I'm assuming you sort of do if you're here, but if you don't know me, my name's Garrett. I am an animator, professional animator. I've worked at Disney Animation Studios, at DreamWorks for 10 years, and I am also the creator of the Chirp Mail series. And the Chirp Mail series I have is of birds acting out real life voicemails. And I'm assuming you probably know all this, but just for those who don't. And I just released Disappoint Mail, which was my labor of love for like the past 6 months. And that was of an owl, a really funny voicemail of this like grandma. If you haven't seen it, definitely encourage you to watch it. And I wanted to kind of make this live stream to celebrate 200,000 subscribers on YouTube, because honestly, like, I feel like I haven't really done a good job of like celebrating my growth in general on social media. And like, not that I need to like brag about it, but I just like, I'm very appreciative and grateful that there's so many people who like the same things that I like. And I think it's worthy of like, oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I just wanted to do a live stream kind of celebrating that. And 200,000 birds subscribe to you. All bird fans. Yes, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, so just wanted to kind of do a little live stream, try this out, and I can give you a little bit about like what the plan is for the stream. Is I'm going to kind of show this rig, the owl rig, and just kind of share some stuff about it, some little behind the scenes stuff. I'm going to go back to the first Chirp Mail I ever did, and kind of how it got started, how the series got started a little bit. I'd love to answer any questions you guys have, so if you have any, throw them out. Yeah, so otherwise it's just gonna be me talking, which is totally cool, but I'd love to, yeah, any questions you guys have, I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. And then I want to end it, if there's time, with just talk about personal project tips. If you're someone who likes to make things, and I just feel I have a lot of opinions about making stuff. So hopefully it's helpful, and hopefully we have time for that. I did want to say a little plug. If you are interested in voting on the next voicemail, I'm actually doing, as you can see up here with this amazingly placed button at the very top. I just put out a vote for the next 4 voicemails on my Patreon. So if you want to join, take a look. The voting is actually really close right now, but it's kind of between 2. They're really funny. The voting will end next week, next Wednesday. And the other plug is I have a Discord channel. And it's free to join and everything. And take a look. I think it should be in the description of this video. And it's kind of a place where you can hang out, you can talk about animation. I have a channel on there called Creator Club where people are sharing kind of like what they're working on, and I'm very active on there. So take a look at that. And yeah, some little plugs. Sir Wade, hey, 200K, woo. Nice. Sir Wade is awesome. And we were at DreamWorks together, and it is awesome that you are here. And I hope you are doing well. And yeah, honestly, for educational animation stuff, check his channel out because he has really good videos. Like, I think you have like a Blink tutorial that's like incredible. I was looking at a while back. But yeah, check out his stuff. Shout out. I have one of my pigeons. Oh, amazing. Oh, I wish we could like reverse live stream so I could see you. I want to see your pigeon. Agent Snack, do you have a favorite bird species? That is a great question. I feel like I don't have a favorite bird species. I just sort of stumbled into like making bird animations for a bunch of other reasons. Now, I love birds, but I feel like I have to say pigeon. Actually, you know what? I would say there's a bird near where I live that I see a lot of. It's called a phoebe, and it is a very cute bird, and it does this like swooping thing, and it kind of clicks. I don't know. Look up phoebe. It's a very cool bird. I also like penguins, and I do want to make a chirp mail at some point with a penguin. I think that'd be really cool. Pet parrot. Oh, man. I admire you, people who have birds as pets, because I know I have some friends who have them, and it's a lot of work. There are a lot of, like, you have to enrich them. I mean, I have a dog, so it's a similar, like, a lot of enrichment, but it's another level with birds, man. Oh, it's so cool to see people hopping on. Okay, cool. Let's just get into it before I get distracted. So this is the owl rig. I'll just show this. This is an Autodesk Maya, the program I animate in. I'm just gonna play this. This is a facial animation test I did kind of as I was making the rig. Here, maybe I should put it in camera view so it doesn't look all messed up. And this was just a test I did sort of while I was making the rig to just see if I could hit different expressions. I didn't finish it, but it was just really helpful because using this test, I was sort of able to see like, okay, what are the limitations of the rig? What do I need? Like, even just like looking at this voicemail that I was animating, I was like, what expressions is she gonna go in? And I was kind of trying to figure out what they would be. So these are all the controllers, and I have regrets, guys. I have regrets about how I rigged this. I made it way too complicated. Like, see these like purple controls here? It's so, I have too much control. What I should have done is make it simpler. That's all I'm saying. It's just because it's a lot of things to move around, you know? But, you know, I figured like more is better than less because, you know, if I end up needing to get into certain poses, it's fine. But it was a pain to animate this character, as well as the lids. The lids are super complicated. Like even getting a shape like this, it's doable. But I mean, if I had like fancy, you know, better riggers do this, it'd be a lot easier. So, and going back to even just like before the rigging process, like when I heard this voicemail, oh, my dog is barking. Just making sure she doesn't continue to bark. Otherwise, we'll go see what's up. Before I even rig this owl, like why do an owl? Like I heard the voicemail and I was like, this was a very old character, and I was kind of like, man, the pigeon doesn't really fit the vibe. And I felt like an owl kind of worked for her. So that was part of the reason. I knew it'd be a big thing to do because I'd have to like model and design and rig. And actually I wanted to show you guys, oh, that's the live stream. Where's, I had a Pinterest up actually. Hold on one moment. Oh yeah, so I just made like a Pinterest board of like different owls, and I, you know, Archimedes, and just kind of getting inspired of like what type of owl I wanted to do. Owls are wise with age, exactly. So yeah, I was just trying to get a sense of things and looking through different characters that kind of I was going for, and obviously some of these ideas did not go into the making of the character, but it was just helpful. And I decided on a little owl because there are a lot of different types of owls, and I kind of went for this vibe. It's not exactly this, but I was like, okay, super cute, super expressive, and it just looked like it would be fun to animate. Little did I know it wouldn't be. No, I'm kidding. It was fun. But let me take a look at chat. Sorry, I haven't not been doing that. Oh, bitterns. Amazing. White-faced cockatiel. That is awesome. Oh, a lot of people with birds, which makes sense. Of course, that's like what I animate. Of course, there are a lot of bird pet owners here. That's super cool. Ooh, chirpmail with a fantasy bird-like creature, like griffins. That's freaking cool idea. That is a cool idea. I would say I wouldn't rule it out. Like honestly, if I had more kind of resources, because that would probably take me a lot of time. But you know, I don't know. I do want to do different birds. I like the pigeon. I like kind of like the OG design, and it's really fun. And kind of I know how to animate that. But I really enjoyed the process of like making new birds and thinking of doing maybe a hummingbird soon, or maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Yeah. How long did it take to make the owl and its rig? Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I timed my my making of, like I've been starting to track my time with projects, and I think it took me, I'd have to check, but I think it was like 30 hours of work, meaning like that's modeling, rigging, you know, texturing, doing the whole process, designing, all of it. And I think it was like roughly 30 hours, which is a lot. It's a lot of time. And actually one feature of the rig I wanted to showcase, because I'm kind of proud of it. Not that it's like that cool, but I don't know if you guys remember, but in the animation, she does the owly thing where her head is back 180 degrees. And I was like, I can't animate that normally. Like if the mesh of her body and the head were together, it would be really, really difficult to get that rigged. So I designed her in a way where these feathers are overlaying the body. And so you can get, you can kind of rotate the head back, and it sort of works, you know? There's some cleanup that I needed to do, but I was sort of happy with that I was trying to figure out the best way to do that. Yeah, and it also kind of makes it more different than the pigeon. It's not just like I'm copying the pigeon mesh. So there's definitely a lot more stuff I would do if I wanted to, but I had to kind of cap the time. And I also have these little fun scraggly feathers. You know what's funny? Oh my gosh, I'm so used to Blender now that all my hotkeys, because I work in Blender as well, and it's just getting them confused between Blender and Maya. I think I've been here since before 100K. Oh, you're an OG fan. I love it. Thank you. No, seriously, it's really cool because I do feel like there's like a core group that really loves my animations, and I love it. It's so cool. Is it just you doing it all? Yes, it's just me, which might be stupid. I don't have the resources to like pay people to help me with it, so I just do it all. But actually, kind of more on that later, but I kind of create in a way where I try to make it very manageable for me. Like even with my animations, it's pretty much just like one character. There's the rig is, it's not simple, but the textures are simple. It's a bird. The reason I chose birds actually is because you have just this body and two legs, the wings are simplified, and then the face is kind of just the expressive part. And I figured even these eyes, right? These are modular. So I have a rig and I just import it into this. So I kind of create in a way that allows me to make stuff by myself primarily. And that's been my biggest like passion with regards to CG animation, is like trying to make it in a way that is, you know, you don't need big studio resources. You can do it yourself. And whether I'm successful in that or not, like there's many more people who are doing even better things, but I do think it's really fun to kind of try to make CG animation a little cheaper, I guess is another way to put it. You don't need like millions of dollars to make something cool. Sorry, I went off on that question. Went off. How do you balance YouTube and working for a professional animation company? Oh man, that's a big question. Because I actually haven't like announced this officially on social medias, but I actually left Disney about a month ago. Hot goss. I wasn't actually planning on talking about that, but maybe I'll talk more about that later. But I left Disney to kind of pursue independent animation full time. So I'm doing this now full time. It's kind of my dream. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm doing Chirp Mail. I'm doing a lot more stuff on YouTube that I haven't like shown yet. And yeah, I'm just trying to pursue doing my own thing full time. We'll see how it goes. At the time when I was at Disney, it was hard, very hard. I was only having time on the weekends and kind of weekends and after work. So I would maybe do like 5 to 7 hours a week. Yeah, so it's tough. It is tough to manage your time. Which other birds are on the roster for the next vid? Oh, well, actually, I don't even know, honestly. I kind of gauge it based on the voicemail. I kind of want to take a break from doing a new character. I almost want to just do a pigeon because this took me so long, and I almost want to get one out quicker and have more fun with just the animation part of it. So we'll see. The next one might be a pigeon, but yeah, we'll see. I have to hear the voicemail to see what would fit. The rotation was such a charming touch. Do you rig every bird from scratch? Yes, I do rig every bird from scratch. I use an auto rigger called, I forget what it's called, Advanced Skeleton. It's great. And then I obviously do custom stuff for the face. Bye, crazy bird. Okay. Remember character you should Chirp Mail that is someone who's rushing a bit. Yeah, totally, Jessica. Yes. That's kind of exactly how I think of it too. Like, what is the vibe of the voicemail? Because that's how I chose the owl for her. I was like, she's a little like old sounding and slow, and yeah, the wisdom of an owl. I don't know. So hummingbird, it could be someone, absent-minded, kind of like, yeah, exactly, kind of fast, like fast energy. Hello from Michigan. Hello. I heard the hummingbird idea. Would love to see some fast talking, maybe panicked person through the phone. Exactly. Yes. What made you get into animations? Did you see yourself becoming an animator when you were younger? Oh, that's a great question. I always made like film, or I went to film school and I was interested in making like videos when I was younger. I never knew I wanted to be an animator, but that sort of shifted in college when I was like, I don't actually like making videos and like I don't like being on sets and needing crews. I like the control that you get with animation, but I was always like, oh man, I can't draw. How am I supposed to like animate if I can't draw? Because that was what I always thought. But there's stop motion, there's CG animation, there's so much you can do. You don't need to know how to draw necessarily. I mean, it helps, and certainly it makes your work better, but that's kind of how I got into it. And I love being able to just like make whatever I want in this. There's no like permits or crews, or I mean, if you're collaborating, there's other people, but I just like to do what I want. I'm selfish. Oh my gosh, someone donated $2. Thank you. Ita Di Kamasu, 1 up. Thank you, man. That's awesome. Amazing. Sorry, I'm kind of just getting through all these here. Going independent makes you express yourself more and nobody tells you what to do. Yes. Yes, that's true. The problem is money, but I'm figuring that out, so don't worry. But yes, no, that's the goal. That's what's fun about independent. And honestly, you guys hopefully have seen like flow and just what's going on in the independent animation community. It's amazing. Everyone who I kind of keep in contact with independent animation, they're doing unbelievable things in Blender too. It's just like so cool. I think there's a huge need for independent animation, honestly. Love your videos. Thank you. Ex-employee at Disney would be awesome to add anywhere. Yeah, I should just like, I need to use that more. Be like, Disney animator makes Chirp Mail When you talk about making animation not so expensive, I was thinking about the movie that won an Oscar called Flow. Oh yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Yeah, it was all made in Blender. Exactly. That's exactly right. That was all made in Blender, free program. And you know, not to discount, like, animation is expensive because the way they do it in like Hollywood and stuff, it kind of needs to be. The quality bar is really high, and there's, like, you know, artists you have to pay for, and there's unions, and those people deserve a good you know, money, because it's expensive and it takes time. But it just would be cool to see more kind of, yeah, independent stuff where it's not I don't know, find ways to make it a little more accessible. That's not AI. Hot controversial take, but I do not use AI in my animations. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but I think AI is lame. Am I gonna get roasted? Might get roasted. Thank you so much, Tomio Rabbit. Sorry, I'm poor. Oh my gosh, don't worry. Love and respect from Chicago. Amazing. I'd like to learn animation on a professional animation software at Roblox Studio, but I'm having trouble finding a good place to start. Do you have any tips for getting started? Ooh, that's a good question. So I have some part of this podcast called the Animation Happy Hour. You can kind of Google it. I should have put a link in the description. And we have a whole list of animation resources. And I think even Sir Wade, who was here before, is on there, but it's like a whole list of resources for animators. So yeah, take a look at that that's a great starting point. Cause we were getting that question a lot, and I think there's so much out there. We should probably update it, to be honest. But that's a good starting point. animationhappyhour.com, and then there's a resource page there. Do you prefer working with Blender? Guys, thank you for asking questions. This is awesome, because I had a whole, like, I'll still go through this list, but it's fun to kind of like chat with you directly. Do you prefer working with Blender or Maya? That is a great question. So I am so well versed in Maya for animation and rigging. Like, I just know it like the back of my hand. At Disney, we used Maya, so it's, you know, that I used that for like 5 years, and then for my own personal projects, for all these chirp mails, I use Maya. I just know Maya so well. But Maya's expensive, first of all, and also rendering in Maya is expensive. You need like crazy render licenses. So what I'm kind of learning, and I'm starting to dive into Blender now, and I haven't gone into animation with Blender, but I would say Blender for modeling and texturing, I think it's actually better than Maya. For rigging and animation, the jury's out for me. So sorry, it's kind of a complicated answer. I would say for me, I'm much more comfortable in Maya in general, but I would say Blender is getting better every day. And I think if you're interested in kind of playing around in animation, I would go Blender. Sorry if I ever get a Autodesk sponsorship. I will still take an Autodesk sponsorship for Maya. But no, I love Maya. But yeah, I guess if you're gonna choose one, I mean, I think you should go Blender, because I mean, the looks and styles and textures you can get, and it's free. I mean, can't go wrong with that. Animation seems a little clunky for me so far, but I want to try more things out. Just want to say thanks for the animation. Thank you, Shannon. It's awesome. It's not controversial. That's fact. You're talking about the AI art. Yes, I agree, man. Agree. Thank you for the animations. Really enjoy your work and looking forward to hearing more from you. Yeah, thank you. I don't like texturing in Blender. It's so frustrating to me. Yeah, okay. I probably haven't been even texturing right. I've been kind of like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm in the texture paint tool in Blender. And so far it's been okay. I've been doing a lot with like flat shaders. So that's why you can see with this owl, it's kind of just flat. And so it's my kind of needs are really simple. Cool. So another thing I wanted to just say about this owl is that with all these rigs that I make, I hope to reuse them in the future and kind of like, so I don't have to like re-rig things 1,000 times. So I'm hoping that maybe if I get like another older character, or I don't know, maybe a younger character, I will reuse this. I try to like I was talking about before about being like cheap with animation, or try to make it a little easier for me, as I try to reuse things all the time, which is why a lot of my pigeon animations, it's like I just kind of change the texture and kind of add little things that are kind of easy to add. So that is one big thing, and it would be cool if, like, you know, years from now I have like a collection of like different birds that I can just kind of reuse. In every voicemail I get, I can kind of like or I can use, yeah, whatever character fits the personality, which would be super cool. Okay, and actually, okay, I do have one more plug. If you like this owl and you want this cool sticker, this is part of the Chirpmill Collector Club on my Patreon. I think we only have like 7 left. It is a tier on my Patreon where you get 2 to 3 stickers, and you also get a postcard every other month, and you get power voting, which is cool because in this round of voting, it's actually making an effect where like it's super close, because the Chirpmill Collector Club members are kind of like overtaking a little bit the other voters. I mean, it's still pretty close, but basically my point is you could have an effect on the voicemail to being decided. So yeah, if that's something that interests you, take a look at that. The sticker designs kind of I came up with are looking really fun, and yeah, that's my plug. So let's go back in time to the first animation, or first Chirpmill I've ever done. Do you guys remember this, or did you? Hopefully you've seen it. Maybe you haven't. But before I get into this, let me check for any questions. Oh no. So this is the first animation, first voicemail that I animated, and it was from my dad.
Hey Garrett, it's Dad calling, wishing you the best of best birthdays. I hope I got the date right. I'm sure I did.
So...
Hey Garrett, it's Dad calling, wishing you the best of best.
I basically had always animated my family members because I think real life is just like funnier than anything written, and I had done that through college. I'd done that even before when I was a kid, just filming them. So I got this voice film from my dad, and I was like, this would be so funny animated. And then I just made this, and this kind of went like viral. I think it was on Dig. I don't know if any of you guys even remember Dig, or if I think Dig is still a thing, but basically it's like the Reddit before the Reddit. And I remember got a lot of attention, and I was like, oh, cool, people like this. Yeah, so then I was like, kind of like, maybe I'm onto something here, and this was really fun to do, and I had a great time. And as you can see, the sparrow design is pretty like old, and I don't love a lot of aspects of it, but it kind of like set a little bit of the stage of what I do now with the Chirpmills in terms of like flat shaders. I think, is it on 2s, which is actually, that is different than what I do now. Yeah, it's animated on 2s, so it's a little choppier. I animate on 1s now, but I was just trying things out. You can see like the modular eye is sort of there. I have like some specular dots there for some reason. Also, the character, this is fully CG. This is not a real life background. You know, I kind of like moved to real life backgrounds because I'm like, I don't want to like model and rig a car, you know, if I can just focus on just animating the actual thing moving. So that's why I moved into kind of like doing the characters composited over to the real life backgrounds. But still, it kind of is the first Chirpmill. Like, it's, oh, I even have shadows. I was even fancy enough to do shadows on the bottom. But yeah, this was a very fun Very fun thing to do. And it's just kind of like, you know, creature comfortsy, kind of like what I like, mockumentary style stuff. And yeah, I think it was a really fun one to start it out on. Oh, who could forget the iconic birthday chirp, Mal? Thank you. Oh man, what did your dad think of it? My dad liked it. He I think he's a doctor, and he sent it to his like nurse friends, not nurse friends, his nurses, and they all like shared it around in the doctor's office. The funny thing about this one actually is like this last beat, which makes it so funny.
I hope I got the date right. I'm sure I did.
I'm sure I did, so he clearly doesn't. That was like added at the very end. Like I had finished it pretty much. And I think it was Isabel, my wife, who was like, you should have the last expression be kind of like a wide-eye expression. Like I think I was going to end it like he's confident that he did get the day right. I think I got the day right. But it's so much funnier with the like that ending. And that kind of set the stage for when I do chirp mails, I like to end it with a little bit of a button on all of them. Even when I choose the voicemails that I put into my Patreon, or I show, it's like always ones where I feel like I can see the potential in the kind of that ending. The ending needs to be like funny, that you kind of remember, because then hopefully you'll replay it and it makes it fun. I don't know. I like that. Oh, is the music too loud? I'm gonna turn the music down because that is something I don't want it to be too loud. I don't want it just my voice, because then I think it'll just get sad and quiet when I'm not talking. Maybe that's an insecurity. But thank you for bringing that up. Dang, your animations are really impressive for that program. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty like common program for big like studios, and you can do a lot of cool stuff in Maya, but it is complicated. It is for sure complicated. I hear I'm currently a student animation mentor, also study at SCAD. I absolutely love your work, and the antics and secondary action are so unique. Do you have any acting advice? Oh, that's a great question, Cameron, and congrats on being student animation mentor. No, it's a great school, and SCAD also is a great school. Acting advice. I feel like with this stuff, I sort of just record myself. And some people I know are more comfortable with that than others. But I guess if you're not good at kind of recording yourself and kind of like embodying the character, then I would look at film and TV, and kind of not even for an exact, you can't obviously get an exact clip that will work for what you're doing, but just the vibe, you know, of like, if you have a clip you're animating and you kind of want this like disgruntled whatever or old and bitter character, kind of look for characters like that and just watch them and see what they do. And it also depends what style of animation you're talking about. If I'm assuming if it's animation mentor, you're talking about like really like feature film, you want to get in the head of the character. Yeah, like you want to look at films and TV and find those similar comps to what you're kind of going for. And also you can ask other people to like, if you're comfortable, like I know a lot of people at work did that. So yeah, and some people don't even do that at all, and they just do drawings and they kind of figure it out there. So it's really different for everyone. But those are some kind of tools I would start with. The real life animated character blend is really nice. Thank you. Yeah, I love that stuff. I love it. It's really fun to kind of put an animated character in a real world. It's cool. Not gonna lie, having a behind the scenes chill stream is always a good time. Thanks for hosting and being active with chat. Yeah, this is fun. Definitely fun. Thank you all for being here. Creature Comforts is the best. It is the best. And you know what's funny about Creature Comforts is like, I feel like I always had it in my head that it was real life people talking, but I think it's actually actors improvising. Could be wrong on that, but that kind of blew my mind because I was like, oh yeah, creature comforts. My animations are like that. It's like real life. It's like, no, it's just good acting and good voice acting or whatever. I could be wrong on that, but I think I looked it up and I was like, oh, this is fake. And I actually think if like I've had a lot of people say like, oh, you should do like this type of character, this type of personality, and kind of like more fictional voicemails. And I think that the charm of Chirp Mail is that it's real. I think it needs to be real. And in fact, every time I get a voicemail submission that I'm interested in, I always do my due diligence of checking to make sure it's real. Like I'm like, this is because some of them are so ridiculously like funny to me that like this has to be fake. So yeah, I try my best to make sure everything's real and not and from a human, and because I think that is the charm of it. Thank you, Nico Cartoon. Congrats on 2K. Thank you. Amazing. What was your favorite animation movie you worked on Disney DreamWorks? Oh, that's such a good question. That is a good question. For DreamWorks, my favorite movie that was released was How to Train Your Dragon 3. But there was a project that was canceled that I had a really good time on, and it's sort of where I think I can say it now because I think it's been I think it's like people know about it, but it was a project called Larrikins, and that was canceled. And it was kind of where I sort of got my foothold in animation, and I was like doing shots, and it was super fun to work on, and the team was really awesome, and yeah, so that was DreamWorks. And then Disney, the first film I was on was Frozen 2. And that was in a similar way, kind of like fun because it was sort of me joining a new studio and kind of like getting to know people, and a lot of pressure, but also kind of fun because of the friendships that I made. So I'm thinking about kind of like the friends I made along the way. More, I think Encanto was like probably critically the best, or the most like well-received one. But that was actually tough. So, but it was, I did learn a lot. I mean, every movie I learn a ton. So it's super hard. It's hard to pick. Stream is so cozy. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the whole like cozy music, I'm kind of just like trying things out because, yeah, I don't know. I don't want it to just be my voice. Oh, we have an animation happy hour in the chat. Amazing. We are still going strong with the animation happy hour, and there's a new episode going to come out soon. I don't know how soon, but we're very inconsistent, but I think we're the best animation podcast there is. I'm going to say it. Yeah, no, the next one's going to be about personal project tips. So it's kind of actually similar to what I might be talking about today. But yeah, if any of you guys are animation people, take a listen to the animation happy hour. There's a lot of information on there, even on just the website, if you don't want to listen to the podcast. How do we get a crow character in the future? Oh, that's a great idea too. Crow would be awesome. That's the thing with birds. There's so much like possibilities with the birds. There's so many fun birds are the best. You can do like a penguin. Yeah, you can do a crow, a stork, a goose, a duck. They're all so fun. Like, and it's sort of the same template, right? It's like 2 feet and kind of yeah. It's just I love birds. Bird animations are the best. Perfecto gets woken up by birds in the middle of every night. Oh my gosh. Most of my 3D models are based on How to Train Your Dragon. I love that series so much. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's such a great series. And I remember when I was in film school and I wasn't interested in animation yet. I think I saw How to Train Your Dragon 1. And I thought because of the title, I was like, what is this movie? Like, it kind of interests me, but I didn't have expectations for it. And it like made me like cry. I was like, I mean, the ending obviously was super impactful, and I was just like, what is this amazing movie? It kind of just changed a little bit my perception of like animation too, because I had this expectation, and then it was just so powerful. um will you actually post more? You have only 6 shorts. Yes, I will post more. Okay, it takes a lot of time. No, actually, my plan is to make more of these chirp mails. That's kind of why I'm kind of doing what I'm doing. So I'm trying to maybe get it down to one every couple months because it takes a lot of time. But I'm also working on a long form YouTube video. So that'll be coming out probably next month, which is crazy. And that involves more like, it's completely different. It's going to be kind of like Blender mixed media, and I'm figuring it out right now, but it's very fun as well. But yeah, I hope to do more. I do hope to do more. Just to say you worked on Frozen 2 and Encanto's crazy. That's super cool. Yeah. Yeah. No, I honestly, I feel like on social medias, I don't post a lot of my professional work, partly because there are certain rules that you have to follow when you post. But now that I'm not employed there, I don't have to follow any rules. No, I want to be respectful. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff I should post, honestly, because I'm proud of a lot of the work I did there. Favorite bird? I think that was asked. And what did I say? I think I said no, I don't have a favorite bird, but semi-favorite bird is the Phoebe. Let's look up Phoebe. The Phoebe bird is pretty cute. Are there any pieces of media that inspired the general art direction of Chirp Mail? I feel like in some ways, kind of conventional like animation studios going for like not hyper real, but sort of the Pixar look. I realized that, well, I can't compete with that, right? Like I'm just one guy. I can't make a Pixar look. So it was sort of like the antithesis of what big studios were doing. I was like, well, I'm not going to try to compete with that. I'm going to do my own thing that's more manageable for me, which naturally led to like simple things like the simple shaders that I have. And so it's kind of, yeah, just like what is manageable? How do I not compete with that? Because people have this vision of animation needing to be, you know, this like super polished, amazing style. And then, I mean, of course, I don't even know when Spider-Verse came out compared to when my Churmail came out. Not that mine is anything like that, but just the idea of doing something a little more just different, like a different look. I love the idea of like doing animation on twos. I think that's why this is on twos. Yeah, and it's weird because the mouth is on ones. If you don't know what on twos means, basically like the character moves every 2 frames. So it's not like smooth. But yeah. So yeah, it's just trying to be different, you know? Sorry, I'm kind of catching up here. Don't worry, the crews are saying hi. Just a Q&A, you had an amazing video I've ever seen. Main pigeon above you, face cam in the stream called a blue checker. There's different breeds of pigeons. The one actual looks like the female. Oh, wow. Good eye. That's awesome. It's a live stream of my pigeons in the backyard. No, it's not. Cool. So yeah, let me get back to my agenda here. So yeah, this was the first voicemail that I animated, and then I animated another one from like a family member, like my stepdad. And then I thought like, well, it'd be kind of cool to like take submissions from people, because the thing about good voicemails to animate are they're really hard to come by. Like to have, like, I can't just do all the voicemails for my family. Wouldn't it be cool if I could kind of crowdsource it and get people to submit me voicemails? So that's kind of why I opened it up. And I'm not disappointed by the submissions. They're always super funny, or they're really sweet. I kind of like want to lean a little bit more into the idea of doing some that are just like sweet, and obviously some are both, you know, like the spider one was a very funny voicemail, but it was from someone who's they passed away basically, so it kind of meant a lot to the person, which was really, really cool to see. I didn't kind of expect that. So anyways, yeah, I want to try to do like different types of some that are funny, maybe some that are sad, I don't know, make you feel different things. It doesn't always have to be necessarily funny. But yeah, these give me so much joy. Thank you, Garrett. Hello, Golden Remy. Awesome. So okay, this next part of the live stream, and I've been doing this, it looks like for like an hour, 10 minutes, is probably going to be more geared towards people who are making stuff, like animators and creators. But it's just a little bit of, it's almost like a preview of actually the next animation happy hour episode on personal projects. And I just wanted to, I have a little spiel about, because I've been doing this now for a while, and I have some thoughts to talk about. So yeah, if you're not interested in that stuff, I'm sorry, but feel free to keep asking any questions. It's fun to answer them. So my first kind of thing is that we all have heard that finished is better than perfect with personal projects or with anything that you're doing, right? Which is great advice. Like, you don't want to be too perfectionistic about your work that you never finish it. And I think I struggle with that a lot. I know a lot of people who struggle with that. And I would say that in addition to that, if you're making something for the purpose of entertaining other people, then I also think releasing is better than finishing. Or wait, what was I going to say? Yes. Releasing is basically better than finishing, meaning, like, in addition to not being a perfectionist about it, it's important to release what you're doing and move on to the next thing. Because I think releasing is really hard for a lot of people because you're worried about judgment. And I'm speaking kind of for myself. Even with these that get all these like views and stuff, like each one, I'm kind of like, oh, is this gonna do well, or are people gonna like it? And it even goes into like my animations throughout my career. I'm just like, maybe it's just an issue I have, but in general, I think it's important to release stuff and share it, because it's vulnerable, but I think it's kind of what makes you grow. And it's a little bit the same thing of like, you know, finish is better than perfect, but just like just acknowledging the releasing aspect of it. Also, this is a little controversial, but I think you should do it yourself. Clearly, I am someone who does things myself with these chirp mouths. It's like kind of all me. And specifically with animation projects, I feel like it's kind of it's really nice to do it yourself. And the reason why is because it forces you to think about the scope of what you're doing. Because if you're doing it yourself, you can't make a feature film. You can't even make, in some instances, you can't even make a short film. But it forces you to think about kind of, something that's very manageable for you to do yourself. And you also learn so much by doing it yourself. I think there's benefit to collaborating on certain things. Like, you know, I just mentioned my podcast, and I do that with my two good friends, and it's fun to collaborate with them and stuff. And that's a conversation, and that's like, you know, that's fun. But for animated projects, if you're doing it by yourself, I just think it's nice. And even though it's hard though, because you have to learn all these different things, but then you learn it, and you can kind of use those skills for other purposes. Let me take a look at the chat here. I like the idea to add serious emotional real life voice message, something to connect the viewers with. Yeah, totally. Doesn't always have to be funny, you know? Would you do bigger birds like falcons, vultures, or even ostriches? Yes, to all of those. I would love to do that. Like I was saying before, there's so many different possibilities with birds. So I think those are all great ideas. Do any of the birds have names or backgrounds, or are they just like puppets for the audio? They're kind of just like puppets for the audio. You know, once I make a chirp mail, I sort of like, like this sparrow is my dad now, like in my head. And same with like this specific iteration of the owl is just that woman is Disappoint Mail. But like the problem, because I'm using real life voicemails, I can't make another animation with this exact, you know, with the voice. So it's kind of just like a one-off thing, which is a shame. It'd be really cool to like contact the person and be like, hey, can you make another voicemail that I can use? Because they're super funny. Penguin would be fun to see. You consider doing regional birds for your chirp mail videos? Doing a kookaburra emu? Yes, totally. I love that idea. I agree with the always finish. Yeah. Man, I wish someone gave me that advice before I started working on my portfolio. Yeah, but you know what? It's like a learning process. And I'm not perfect at it, so don't like beat yourself up if you struggle with that. And it's a journey. It's a journey. Art is a journey. It's kind of actually what my next like video is gonna be about. And honestly, if you're making stuff and you're releasing it, you're just awesome. People don't realize how hard it is to make stuff, you know? It's so damn hard. I get so many comments that are like, hey, your chirp mail looked like it was like super easy to make. Like, I'm surprised it took you so long. And I'm like, how do you not know? Of course, like most people don't know how hard it is. But yeah, I just think like, you know, especially in this age of like AI art where people are just like farting out prompts and making stuff, I think like people who are celebrating art, they're doing stuff. I think that is super cool. And it's even cooler when you can kind of see the process too, behind the scenes stuff, which is why I like to show my my process a little bit, to be like, this is me doing this. It's not AI. Sorry, got on a soapbox for there. I wish you the best of luck on your portfolio. Yes, you can learn so much by finishing a project, even a small one. 1000% agree. And honestly, sometimes it's just helpful to like just go with it and just keep going, release it, keep moving on. You know, my first film, Brush, was an example of me where I didn't want to release it. I was like, this is garbage. I hate it. It's bad. And I did release it, thankfully, and it got you know, people really reacted to it emotionally, which was awesome. But forgetting about the emotional reaction from people, like it totally set the stage for my chirp mails, even, which I didn't even realize. Like I used tune shaders, I used stuff like modular rigs, kind of the style. It just helped me kind of develop things. So yeah, I think it's really just helpful to make projects and move on and yeah, do that. It's my advice. I do want to learn how to animate, and with my school finishing in a month, I'll have a bunch of free time to learn. Yeah, go for it. It is the cool thing about animation is you never really stop like learning. There's always something new to learn. So it's a great undertaking. Jessica, I ask as an Australian, so that's all I could think of. Hey, if I get a nice, juicy Australian voicemail, I'll definitely think about a kookaburra or emu. Oh, emus are so funny. Actually, one of my first animations that I did at DreamWorks was of an emu, and I think it's on my Instagram. It's really fun. Thank you, Dave. Congrats on 200K. Congrats, Sparrow. You are now dad. Yeah, exactly. Little did my dad know he would become a famous Sparrow. And what's funny about this is like, he's like using the phone like a real phone, and in my chirp mails now it's like part of the environment. And that's a kind of a big change actually. And sometimes I get swept up in the logic of like, why is the bird here, and why is like what's, and it's just like, dude, just have fun, you know, don't overthink. Do you get a lot of voicemail send-ins? I don't know how long it takes to make an animation. I just joined. Oh, but I love these videos. Yeah, I do get a lot of voicemail send-ins, and you can send in, I have like a Google form that you can submit your voicemails to, and it is a joy, genuine joy to listen to them. And it is very difficult. For this latest voting drive, it was the hardest thing to narrow it down to 4. So hard because people have the funniest voicemails. But yeah, that's usually what I do is I get a bunch of submissions and then I narrow it down to like 4 to 5. And I'm like, okay, I would be happy to animate all these. But let's let people decide and vote on it. Sorry if you answered this already, but will you reuse the birds? Making a new model every time is amazing, but I hope it's not too much. Yeah, so actually I did talk about that, and I think that's something I try to do, which is why there's mostly pigeons for chirp mail, because it's like I just sort of modify the pigeon. I don't do a new bird for every single chirp mail. In fact, for the next one, I think I mentioned this. Like, I don't know if I want to do a new bird. I want to reuse an existing bird because it just takes a lot of time. But we'll see. It depends on the voicemail that's picked. AI art, more like AI fart. That's right, perfecto. I agree. I totally agree. I don't know why I feel like I'm going to get roasted for saying that. I guess the internet's like sort of touchy about AI. Yeah, I guess it's like kind of non-artists who are like, it's going to replace everyone. How long does it take to design and rig a bird? Because gosh, I've tried rigging characters lately and it's not easy. It takes me a while. I think I mentioned before that this owl took me like, might have been 30-ish hours, I think is what I said. It's a lot. It's a lot of time. And just designing, not even just rigging and model. If I knew what the design was and I knew what the model was and knew what the rig was and I knew all the limitations and everything, it would be faster. But the problem with these is like, when you create a character, you come up with like every single little quirk of the rig. And like, for instance, the fact that this head can turn around 180 degrees, that's like a decision that I had to make. So it takes so much time. Yeah. I tried to use Blender as a backup since OpenTunes didn't have an MP4 file option for a while. And yeah, I think an average person would spontaneously because they saw it. Oh man. I know what you mean about like little quirks of softwares though. Yeah. The Dad Chirp Mail was also a pilot to your series. Yeah. So at the time I didn't know it was a series. I was like, I'm just going to animate this voicemail of my dad. And then I was like, wait, this is an awesome idea. And then I was like, maybe I should like kind of make this a series. And that's kind of where it started. But yeah, when I animated this, I wasn't like, I'm making a pilot for a new series about animated voicemails. It was just kind of like a fun thing that I thought was funny. And it kind of turned into that. I want to send in one, but the only one I have is a spam voicemail, someone ringing for 10 minutes, then an automated voice saying I need to pay for some site I've never seen before. I actually did think about doing like a robocaller. I thought that would be funny. It's like a little robot bird, you know? Because I think that just could be just like a fun short one. I wouldn't even have to move. It's just like this, you know, solid character, maybe like glitching out or something. So, hey, it's funny. Submit it. 10 minutes is a lot. That'd be a lot. For sure, reusing the birds makes a lot of sense. Oh, yeah. I'm on the anti-AI boat too. Can't stand AI. Yeah, there's a lot of it now. I'm seeing it in ads. I'm seeing it kind of all over. Yeah, it's everywhere. But I mean, my optimistic hope is that people who do things kind of stand out, that don't use it. And yeah, I think that's why I want to celebrate people who actually make stuff. Join my Discord because we make things. Yeah. So if you're a creator, I know it's hard, but I love you for it. It's a struggle. We all love it. It's good you make your own things. No need to make a full pilot big stuff. I support that. Yeah, exactly. And I actually think that's one thing with personal projects that I wanted to bring up too, is like, you never know what things are going to turn into with personal projects. And I think that's why you should consider doing it. You never know. I never knew that like I would do this sort of thing. It just kind of happened. So yeah, just make stuff and you're going to learn, you're going to grow. And I think it's fun and very rewarding. It's really rewarding to make these and yeah, see the responses from people. I love that. It's so cool. Pinterest has a ton of AI stuff. Yeah, I know. Yep. It's kind of all over. Even Google, like when I search something on Google, it just says it's an AI generated result usually. I mean, that's like text, but yeah, I know what you mean. Rip my Pinterest feed AI. Oh no. Finding references is hard. Yeah. I'm probably in my Pinterest. There was some that I didn't know were AI. I was just like clipping things. I hope not. Why out of all things was AI try and take away human creativity? Yeah. I know. It's like, I don't know how to do my taxes. That might be useful because I have to pay someone to do my taxes, to pay the government that knows what I'm earning. Like there seems to be some efficiencies that can be gained, but maybe not the thing that makes us human. Okay. The most artsy thing I can do is physical art, sewing, weaving. Yeah. Recycling jewelry. And I'm working on my knitting right now, listening to this live stream. That's so cool. And you know what? I'm working on a cross stitch, or I have been working on a cross stitch, and I wasn't going to do this, but I'll show it right now. I'm so bad at it, but here, I'll show you. Check this out. It's been like a year and I haven't finished it. I thought it was so funny. Got it from Etsy, and it's just a vibe. It's just a vibe, and I haven't finished it. But I think that's very meditative to knit and do stuff like that. And it's just fun to kind of like, yeah, zone out, and it's very relaxing. Do you have any advice for learning character design? I find plenty of technical tutorials, but it's harder to find the basic principles of designing a good character in the first place. Dude, me too. I struggle with this. And honestly, I leverage my wife a lot because she's a storyboard artist and she has been a designer. But what I usually do is kind of like look at Pinterest, get a bunch of references just for, you know, a vibe of kind of what I'm going for. And then I do draw, like I'll draw, of course, like my own interpretation of what I want. And that's where drawing does come in handy. If you're, you know, doing stuff by yourself, it is helpful to be able to draw a little bit. So I guess maybe I would start there as like definitely just drawing in general. I guess I don't know specifically like how to be like good at character designing because I'm not that. But that's my process is I go to Pinterest, look up different things to get inspired. Then I do my passive drawing and I kind of do that for a while. And then usually I'll send it to Isabel and she'll do draw over and make it look really nice. And then I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I kind of go into CG, because one thing I want to mention about design is like, you can have an image in your head of like what, or you can even have of a design on paper, have an idea of what that's going to look like. But in CG, like it can not look like that. Maybe I can even pull up her the designs we had for this. So she kind of did drawovers on my design, and it looked like this, super cute. And oh, did it just crash? Might have just something happened. But even this, like, there are things that are different than in the CG model. Obviously, I aged her up more with the eyelids and stuff like that. But this was like a nice template for me in CG land. But yeah, I wish I was a little better able to give like resources for that. Maybe check animationhappyhour.com. I don't know if we have a good list of resources specifically for designers. We probably do. I think we have like a lot of crafts. I applaud anyone who can knit. Oh, I'm henceforth Garrett knits. Garrett cross stitches, actually. But yes. Do you make 2D art as well? No, I think a while back I had like a Tumblr that was like crappy drawings, and I drew a drawing every day. I've gotten okay with drawing where I can like I can kind of communicate and like do thumbnails with drawings, but I don't think anyone wants to see what I can draw. Maybe I can show. I say that and then I'm like, I'll show you guys what I drew. Is this something? No, this is just kind of a doc of inspiration. I don't know where my design is, and I don't want to show you. But I don't. I think it's really cool people who do, and I think it really helps if you have a sense of like the 2D sensibilities for everything, for animation, for everything. I'm working on sweater pattern from the 80s. Bought the wool over 3 years ago, but have finally been able to start properly after several house moves. Nice. My biggest tool is thinking all the characters' overall vibe, then draw squiggles or shapes that make me feel that way. I'm all about emotion and character, so that's where my focus goes. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes it's just about just doing it, you know, just like, because I tend to overthink, and it kind of paralyzes me a little bit. But sometimes I find that if I just go forward and start something and kind of iterate, it kind of comes together, because you start to naturally see like what works and what doesn't when you actually do the thing. So an example of that is like, before I was even done that with the design of the owl, I started modeling her, and it sort of started to put things into place with proportions, and you kind of like I kind of modeled and did the design at the same time. So I applaud that. Oh, Gremlin, nice. I haven't watched that movie in a while. What was it? What else was I going to say about personal projects? Yeah. So another thing I wanted to bring up with personal projects as a little tip for people is, it's kind of a practical tip, but I think tracking your time is really helpful. For me now, especially now that I'm doing this sort of full time, because at least I can speak for me. When I animate something, I'm like so in the zone, and I don't track my time, and I have no idea how long things take me. So when, you know, I'm presented with, for instance, another shot, or like, oh, how long does this chirp mail take? I have no idea how long it takes, because it's just this whirlwind, right? And especially when I was working on this stuff on the side, I wish I had used like a time tracker. And so this is not sponsored by, what is it? Clockify, I think is the name of it. I think it's Clockify. Yeah, Clockify. It's free. And you can just like create a project. And, you know, for instance, I would create like chirp mail and then track the time that you're taking. It's not a lot of effort, but at the end, it allows you to really see how long you're spending on it. And then you can gauge, you know, on a practical sense, if you're like freelancing and someone's like, how long does this take you? You kind of know how long things take. So maybe this is a little more for like, if you're trying to like bid out, you know, how long things take, and you want to, it's just really helpful to know how long things typically take. So definitely check out Clockify and consider doing that. And also, it's good to know if you're like spinning your wheels on something, and you think it's taking you a long time, but then you track your time and I'm like, oh, that only took me like 2 days. It's like, oh, that's cool. You didn't have anything to be concerned about, you know? Oh, not actually a gremlin, but that's his vibe. Either way, it sounds very cool. Yeah, another thing I would say is find your community when you're creating stuff. So I think it's really hard to work in isolation when you're on like doing personal projects. Like I have a tendency to kind of like be alone, but I think it's important to find a community that kind of is doing similar things or is supporting you. And that doesn't have to be like a literal community. It can be just like, you know, a friend or a group of friends or a partner or whatever, someone who can kind of like be there with you, because it can be hard to create stuff. So yeah, I think I wouldn't have, you know, gotten as much done if I didn't have my community, my wife, who's I've been with since college, and she really helps with knowing kind of what my voice is with this stuff. So I think I just want to put that out there, that it's important to I think it's important to not do it in complete isolation. And honestly, YouTube is a bit of that. For me, it's I think out of all the social media platforms, YouTube is like the most like wholesome. I don't know. It seems like a good vibe. So thank you for being awesome. And also shameless plug for my Discord, which is also a community you can join. That seemed like perfectly segued into that. But yeah, I also have here, think about your audience, which I forgot why I have that. But I guess I would say is like, if you're making something, kind of what I was talking about earlier, if you're making something with the intent to like entertain other people, it is important to kind of think about who your audience is, as opposed to like, you know, if you're knitting or doing something for yourself, you don't need to think about an audience. It's just for you. But it is worth, you know, taking a beat to be like, you know, who is this kind of for? And I know that's a little controversial to have, like with art, is it for you or is it for the audience? And there's a lot of people who are like, you should just make art for yourself. But for me, like, I enjoy entertaining other people. Like I got into film, or I went to film school and started animation because I want to make things that you other people like, because I get joy out of entertaining other people. And I think that's fine too. Like it's really cool to make art for yourself, and that's admirable, but it's also cool to want to entertain other people. So yeah, I think I felt a little bit of like shame about that at one point. I'm like, I'm trying to like make other people, you know, laugh or whatever. And is that wrong because I'm not a true artist? But I think that's cool. You know, it's cool to entertain other people. Yeah. Soapbox. Oh, before I noticed your stream, I was working on learning Blender. I'm on texturing at this moment. Nice. I am learning Blender too. Right now I'm working on a character and I'm having a lot of fun. I haven't animated at all, but I am having so much fun in Blender. The hotkeys are super intuitive for modeling and rendering. Texturing, I barely do any in, but I'm really enjoying the program. It hasn't crashed nearly as much as Maya has crashed on me. Do you do anything in the background while working on creative stuff? Actually, no. I do not, which is, I know, a little unusual. Hold on. Did the music stop? You guys can let me know if the music is annoying. Is it playing? Okay. Yeah, feel free to let me know if it's annoying. I don't. I actually kind of am weird and just like focus on what I'm doing. And I have a lot of friends who are better animators than me that do listen to like watch Netflix or something, or they listen to music on the side as they're working. I just like weirdly can't. I don't know why. Maybe I internalized that like animator survival kit thing about one of the animators who was a Richard Williams. I don't know, who's like, don't animate while listening to things. There's that one famous graphic. I don't know what it is, but I'm very much like a one track mind. But how about you? I'm curious if you actually listen to stuff on the background. Thank you, Sydney. Cool. So kind of the end bit here is just kind of wanted to just quickly talk about why I think it is cool working on personal projects. And if you're working on something, I kind of talked about this stuff already, but I think, you know, right now with animation, it's the best time to be making your own stuff. You know, you can be super creative, you can make something that you want to make, and there's so many resources now to do it. And I think it's super fulfilling to do your own thing, and I think the world needs it right now. I do think like animation is not a genre, it's a medium, and there's so much that can be done in animation. And you know, you're all the people who are going to make the cool next big thing. So and kind of going back to what I said before, you never know like what you're going to end up creating. Like I said, you know, all these dumb little Instagram animations I did sort of brought me to where Shirtmail is, and I'm hoping to continue to kind of grow. And even with this next idea, so I'm just always trying things out, and I think it's a really good time to be doing stuff. So go out there and make cool things. And it's also fun and really rewarding to have an audience like you guys who actually likes the stuff. It's super cool. It's very empowering to be like, you know, I made this thing that people are reacting to, and the comments that I know I don't necessarily react to every comment, but like super meaningful. Just super meaningful. Yeah. So, and I think everyone has that potential to make stuff in that way. So, and also little practical thing, when you make your own stuff, like you sort of see your growth and it's kind of put out there, you know, and you can kind of like timeline how you've grown, and it's as cringeworthy as it can be. I think it can be awesome to see as well. Like I've grown so much in like the past like 5 years as an animator and just as a creator. So I don't know who's that. There was that guy who said there had that book about like show your stuff, show your work, and I react to that. I think everyone should do that and share and yeah, make cool things. Oh yeah, I think that's totally valid. Honestly, I try not to use background music when I'm working on stuff. Yeah, I think sometimes I listen to sort of like instrumental stuff, and some, it depends also what I'm doing. If I'm like polishing or something a little more mindless, I can usually for a little bit, but most of the time, sort of if I'm really in it, I kind of just kind of not listening to anything. I watch TV shows or movies in the background. I'd end up losing focus and start watching TV. Yeah, same. I just start the music playing when drawing or making 3D models, but usually stops and I don't notice. Yeah, I can react to that or relate to that too. Find that without music, I actually do focus a little better, but I need that start. Yeah, I know what you mean. That is a thing for sure, where you like have the music on and yeah, you like start getting into a task and then like it's been, you know, the music turned off like hours ago. I think I used to, but I felt like I was doing worse with it. Yeah, I relate to that. It really annoys me when I hear people say animation is a genre when animation can tell any story. Yes, totally. You know, most people think of animation as kind of just like family content, I guess, you know, It's funny I say that, and I feel like chirp mails is very like wholesome and family friendly. But you know, there's so many examples of stuff out now that is not the kind of conventional animation stuff that we've seen. So, and certainly it depends which culture you're from too. Like Western animation is very different than, you know, Eastern animation, and culture is just very different. So I think it's important to recognize that, and honestly use that to your advantage if you're a creator, because you can make whatever. This is what I have going on. Say draw. Got my results saying I have ADHD today, so actually this is pretty good explanation. Well, there you go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, that's helpful to know for sure. Good morning, Blast. There are a bunch of animations out there that are not fit for kids. Yes, totally. I agree. There's a bunch. And I love it all. I love all different types. I like the family friendly stuff, but I also like the dark, more adult stuff. So many possibilities. Cool. Well, guys, I think I might wrap this up. It's been so cool. I haven't done this before. Yeah, I haven't done like a live stream this public facing. I usually do it privately. So it's cool. You guys have been awesome. I love the questions, and I'll keep this up for anyone who wasn't able to join. Maybe I'll do like another celebration at different kind of intervals of time, or of subscribers. But yeah, check out the Discord if you want to join and create stuff. I'd love to see you there. And thank you for all the questions again. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good day, create some cool things, and keep checking out my stuff, checking out my chirp mail. All right, guys, see you later.